Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've actually made it, believe it or not, here in Bears facing off against Liquid, but for some reason I'm in player perspective. Gods, how you doing? We're going to get to watch some Dota. How you feeling about that? Oh my god, please tell me you're here. Parker, you're muted yourself.
I'm bad at unmuting myself. That's my problem. And I'm hearing your echo somewhere, but...
Huh. That's interesting.
That's all my streams, you know. I'm fixing it. I'm excited. This is Liquid Bears. This is a big match. Unfortunately, apologies viewers out there. I'll say it. Just we had some technical issues with the stream. Cap's working on getting that fixed. Maybe working for game 2, but for now, thank you Lyrical for also being able to step in.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I had some issues too. Maybe there's something else going on. Let's blame it on somebody else. That sounds like a good plan. For now, at least, though. We haven't got to talk about the draft at all. Did you get a chance to take a look at it? Anything really stand out to you at all outside of Odie just completely dumpstering the Shadow Fiend mid?
Oh, is that? Yeah, actually, he is done. Oh my God, 0-0 CS Fury is crushing Miracle. Yapster is making sure they win this mid lane. Draft-wise, I mean, this is very Liquid-esque. The Coddle Brewmaster opening picks they've done very well with. Mind Control's Brewmaster's been a huge nuisance for teams they're up against, so nothing too crazy with the draft. Haven't seen too many Slack picks, I guess. That's perhaps one of the big differences, but the Fata Weaver has been a go-to for Bears throughout this qualifier.
My goodness. Oh, and screwing this up, trying to bring it down. Man, that Illuminate there was pretty close to being a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Mind Control getting chased through the woods, and with that salve, Fata trying to find himself a kill, but not quite there. And I got to get rid of this little timer thing at the bottom as well. Hopping into the game, but yeah, we're looking good here. Any lanes in particular you feel like are a particular win for any team?
Bears mid lane right now is, I think a win is an understatement. That is like kicking a little child while they're already on the ground crying because they tripped over and busted their knee. This is brutal. Poor Miracle is getting dual laned, he's getting 0 CS, and that first wave or two for an SF is the most important. That's where you get your souls, and because of Yapsor's presence as Rubik, he has not gotten any souls whatsoever. He's going back to the jungle. Luckily, he did find a DD rune. This is probably one of the best runes he could snag, and we'll get some CS through that.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that is going to be an evolving storyline throughout this, if Miracle is going to be capable of catching up. Shadow Fiend, traditionally a hero that could do that really well, but obviously with all the changes to the jungles and, Raze is not what they used to be. It could be a bit of a tough one. We'll see if possibly the rest of these heroes can stack up for him or maybe make some gank rotations. In the meantime, it's just going to be a CM mid, the classic that we all love to see.
Yeah, ideally, if you're Liquid, you're prioritizing your other side lanes at this point. I mean, Matu's got a free farm lane. He doesn't even need any support up there right now. Bottom lane's doing very well. Brewmaster with 10 CS to the Weaver's 14. Weaver is not keeping up with the Slack in terms of overall farm, so Liquid are making up for it elsewhere, and I think the call is very much like, hey, Miracle will get some farm and CS elsewhere in the map in the jungle. They've actually given the CM the mid lane. Kuro's like, I'm the mid laner now, guys. Got this. Poor Crystal Maiden is just like a sitting duck here if any ganks come her way, but end of the day, it's a Crystal Maiden, so I doubt Bears are going to prioritize ganking her.
Yeah, Kuro's not going to be getting many last hits here in this lane, I would imagine, but any amount of experience, something that you can salvage from this catastrophe of that middle lane. Meanwhile, top lane, we haven't talked about a lot. Matumbaman playing a Slark himself, facing off against Forev and Yapsor. This could be a bit of a problem for him, depending upon how the next couple of minutes go. Do you think that this Slark can stay solo here against these two?
He can get his level 6, but he's still a full level away from it. Perhaps he looks to punish Forev being low here, but all it takes is a hoof stomp double edge to turn that one around. So Matu needs at least a little bit more health before he thinks about going too aggressive. But it seems like he should be fine now with the Centaur being as low as he is. Slack has some extra tangos. Matu should be just fine to get his level 6, assuming no further involvement from Yapsor's Rubik.
Yeah, no, he's already queuing up the Midas. He knows where he wants to go to be the big bad carry that they need him to be in this one. As Miracles.
I guess, yeah, I mean, normally you don't see the Midas too much anymore, but I think with Miracle having a tough time, they won't be able to fight early with the Slack, perhaps. So they're like, well, may as well go for Midas then, since we're going to have a later timing window.
Yeah, definitely. The double boots down here in the bottom lane with a lot of outspam. We haven't talked a lot about Brewmaster either, a hero that I feel like has been making a bit of a resurgence. Just the power of that Drunken Haze at the early levels. 70% mischance. It's incredibly hard to deal with in the off lane.
Yeah, holy cow, that's insane. The move slow it doesn't really matter because you're getting Weaver, so the movement speed slow is kind of a non-factor in this matchup. And yeah, Brewmaster having a very good time with the Coddle. They're going to come in, take some neutral stacks as well. Adam at least leeching experience. Vata thinking he can perhaps look for a kill here. Mind Control has the Drunken Haze though, so as you mentioned, the 70% evasion is there, and they'll kill the Beetle. Make it hard to get Mind Control. With these one charges, he can turn this one around potentially.
Gotta be careful right now. Well, Fata is going to back out, not wanting to test the waters too much, as a death here would sort of mitigate what was going on so great for them in the mid lane. And it's worth noting that in spite of the terrible start, Shadow Fiend now is sitting on 25 CS. He hasn't been killed off in lane at all, and I mean, still First Blood not available. I feel like this has been a pretty nice recovery for Liquid.
Yeah. I think all of his CS is from the jungle. I might be wrong on that one, but I want to say maybe he came to mid lane, spammed it with razors, then went back to the jungle, but I feel like he has been an exclusively jungling Shadow Fiend at this point. So, well, it's CS is CS when you're getting crushed and getting 0 in the first 3 minutes. So he'll take what he can get at this point and recover quite nicely. Now that he's level 6, he can go back mid, spam the razors, push out the lane, then fall back, grab runes, jungle it up. OD does not quite spam the lane out quite as fast as the Shadow Fiend does, and it's an OD not going for Astral Imprisonment. That's probably the interesting thing about this game, for me at least.
Yeah, is there any particular reason for that, or do you think it's just like personal preference? I'm sort of struggling to figure out why you wouldn't take at least one value point to protect a gank.
You can fight earlier and do more single target damage with this build. It does mean you're not pushing out the lanes, but this is more like a lane dominating build. With the early Arcane Orb, it becomes even harder for Miracle to lane against him at early levels, but the downside is when SF comes back at level 6, he spams a lane out. What was normally a kind of weak outpush from an OD becomes a non-existent outpush, so all he can do is just right-click down the lane. So it's helped him dominate the first 6 or 7 minutes in terms of CS. 50 CS, 33 denies, and will help him fight early, and he'll still perhaps get that value point that's somewhere else earlier on. He's actually holding points right now. He's only used 5 of his 7 skill points, so we'll see whether he gets another point in the orb, whether he dumps 2 points into the orb because the Astral, because you really need multiple points in Astral for the cast range for it to be useful. He is leaving his options open.
Yeah, well, joke's on you, OD. You can't dominate the lane if there's nobody there to dominate, as GH is going to end up TPing back home, and it looks like they still aren't able to connect on any kills. A very just passive, get your stuff early lane, game as we look for the double edge onto Matumba Man, and let's back out, regen, head out of here.
And you look at the net worth of some of these heroes, it's if anything Liquid coming out on top of the lane stage, despite what happened at mid lane. No longer 3, but Brewmaster and Centaur similar in farm. The Weaver's net worth is the one that stands out as being perhaps lower than you'd hope for, but that's the constant spam, the Coddle's presence down here with Brewmaster. Now both these heroes level 5. This duo is crushing. Yeah. This constant spam. They're doing so much to thwart Bears' safe lane, and that is really, to me, that's become a bigger win than what the OD did mid against the SF.
Oh, and Matumba Man here, nice little play. He realized that somebody was spotting him out and was wondering if it was from a ward or possibly Absor, but a couple pings, that might signal to him that there was somebody in the area, or possibly a ward as well. We'll have to see how that ends up evolving over the next couple of minutes, but not really getting a lot done with this initial Invis rune. Kuroki's going to head past him, and maybe they can make this happen for Ev, pulling him back in. The hoof stomp is there as well as the double edge. A couple more right clicks, and Yapzor is going to draw that first blood.
Worth the Stampede for a first blood, but I think if it's not a first blood, that kill doesn't really change all too much. It's a Crystal Main. It's the least value kill on the map. It doesn't set you up to push. If anything, it's put you in a weaker spot, because now you don't have Stampede. This bottom lane suddenly becomes more vulnerable without the Stampede, so it is still nice to get that early money. It gets Rubik Arcane Boots, but it does result in your team having to play somewhat defensively, because Kuro instantly TPs down bottom. He's ready to get aggressive. Vata actually TPs out, knowing that it's no longer a safe lane to be, and this bottom tier 1 tower should be a freebie for Team Liquid.
Yeah, good recognition right there. This Observer Ward spotting out that movement, and I think that part of it also was that they ended up pulling Benton back in with the early level 6 on GH, so they can rotate again if they want to. Forev, meanwhile, going to take a little bit of chip damage from Matumba, but they'll back out. By the way, Midas already online, as Matumba Man is going to end up getting the Dark Pack. They're going to be able to possibly bring down Forev. Kuroki is going to fall, so they can't find that kill. So close.
Dang, yeah, Forev barely surviving through it all. That is a big, big hero to have kept alive at this stage, considering Forog isn't going for the fast blink, wants to get that hood up. You do not want to see him going down, and you do not want to see Matu getting early kills. He's gone for a minus. This is not meant to be a fighting Tal start field. He wants to farm, and if he gets kills while having this farming efficiency, he is going to get out of control very, very quickly. So back to the jungle, already level 10, gets the lifesteal as a Slark. Very nice against the Centaur return, but doesn't look like he'll find the Observer Ward.
And using the spin down bottom here, this was a pretty nice little play. GH pulled him back in, and they went for the brew split to cancel the TP of Dazzle. Not often you see it used right there for a solo kill.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, he got it! Yapzor with the plays! Now ends up turning it back against Mind Control, and with Pharaoh here as well, they should be able to run down this Brewmaster. Very unfortunate turn of events there for Team Liquid. And they don't even get the tower.
Played. Yeah, it's going to be denied as well, most likely. GH is going to get caught as well. That boulder toss catches him out, and Firo, 2 right clicks. He's stolen so much intel, gets a secondary kill. All of this while Weaver takes a tower as well, so...
Oh, Matumbo, man, you don't want to fight right here. The Say's Eclipse could be huge if he manages to get it off. Thinking about going for it. Astral keeping him alive for the moment. They do want to turn a fight onto this, but this is going to be a killing spree for Firo. What? Oh, man.
That early 4-1-4 build paying off big time for Firo, who even gets the Midas, which isn't just a farming item, but it's attack speed to kind of complement all this single target right-click damage he's got, and boy, do Bears look good with this start of theirs. Miracle can't really get too involved or rotate because of how much of a slow start he's had. He's in a good position now, like with the level 12 already, decent CS, but until he gets perhaps the Shadow Blade, he can't really fight all too well. And that completely throws away all of that bottom lane advantage Liquid have with all those kills they just got. And Rubik did die, so he doesn't have the Primal Split anymore. Yapzor a bit more limited in what he can do when he comes back out, but it was a sick play from him, hiding in the trees. The second that split wore off, he grabbed it and engaged.
Yeah, very well played. You know, we're talking about this little back and forth that we've got going here, and still no clear leader, at least. But is there a team that you feel like does well better in the mid game, or a team that you feel like is maybe in a little bit better position as we go further? As Miracle is not going to die. Oh my God, they got him with the rest right click. Oh, DD Rune.
Even with those swarm nerfs onto Weaver in the 702 patch, still a very effective hero. I mean, mid game wise, it's going to come, like for Liquid, they're fighting around the cooldown of Primal Split. When they have Primal Split up, I like their mid-game teamfight initiation better, whereas Bears, they have more uptime. They're fighting around a Blink Centaur with Hoofstomp. Like, he's ready to go whenever. Even with Stampede down, he can still theoretically engage for his team, and Stampede is going to be a much shorter cooldown than the Primal Split regardless. I think looking at Mind Control, the other issue is he's a little bit under-leveled now. He's only level 8.5. We're not very close to a level 2 Primal Split, which is where level-wise, the potency of his ultimate really... We're not going to see that big increase for quite some time. Centaur, on the other side, is level 12, though. He's gotten way more out of his lane. A lot more alone time, a lot more farm on the Centaur compared to this brew.
Yeah, and has that mana regen as well, so we can keep farming and continuing to build that lead. Already has the hood and almost to the blink dagger, whereas you compare, it's not just the experience. Mind Control is almost going to have his blink, but far behind in terms of those survivability items that the Centaur's been able to pick up. So we'll have to see how this develops over the next couple of minutes, but maybe that saving grace here is Matumbo Man with his Midas picked up already, and probably as well the Shadow Blade when it comes out from Miracle, and he is getting closer to it. He's been able to catch up quite well.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, but then you look at the net worth, and he's still 2.5k net worth behind the OD. The SF is actually more farm than Matu, which is a bit surprising. A lot of that goes back to the OD kill. We saw the OD kill on him. We saw it bottom lane, and Matu has been moving around the map and kind of creating space for Miracle in some ways. We'll see what Liquid can get done with this Shadow Blade now. That's going to be the big item pickup, which perhaps gives them some kill opportunities. Matu's invis.
Oh! He body blocked just for a second there onto Forev, and Forev realized what was happening and backed out immediately. So good heads-up play there by Forev to escape a sticky situation.
That was a really clever read from Forev, reacting to that. And Matu trying to deward the enemy jungle, misses that Observer with the Sentry. Like, he's coming very close to a couple Observer wards, and it's interesting to see not a support, a core, like running around with these wards for his team, but the end result is not quite what they were hoping for. 2 Radiant wards in this jungle of theirs, protecting them from this Slark rotations.
Yeah. Well, good play there, and Fata also has him. Oh, we're gonna miss a kill in the mid lane. Yaps were just able to get brought down by Miracle.
Are you seeing this random granite golem in the bottom lane?
Where?
But near the Radiant Observer in their jungle on the right.
I am not seeing that.
Okay. There's like a random granite golem. I think it's a Dota TV bug.
Okay. I could have just not seen it because I didn't want to miss the kill in mid, as it looks like they're going to have the initiation come out, and on to Forev, a hell of a lot of damage. Kuroki as well, dropping down that ulti. Fata looking for a little bit of a counterplay now. They are going to be able to get out for a moment on Adam as the chase continues. Shadow bladed up. That is going to be a kill. Curl going down. Yapstorm making the plays and, well, going for the Requiem, canceling out. They needed to dispel magic. It is going to finally fly. Another kill goes back the other way, but it looks like Fata was able to escape, at least for the moment. And did they steal split again?
Again.
Oh
yeah.
My God. I don't know if it's going to end up being a turnaround kill, though. They have already been able to get a huge win here for Liquid. Bears
They lose their courier, but yeah, huge win for Liquid, killing the prized OD and getting the Centaur. They're fighting very well around the Primal Split and instantly into the Roshan pit. They get rewarded with a double damage rune. That's the dream case scenario for this Liquid team. No OD buyback, not that you'd want to use one anyways, and contesting this is just not going to be possible. Bears lose a big fight and will have to give up Roshan all around the Primal Split. Liquid just need to make sure they play around that cooldown and get these good jumps, and that's where they'll come out on top.
And maybe one of the turnaround points here as well for Bears as you go forward is that Rubik does still have that Primal Split stolen. He used it immediately after doing it, and last time he died, so he wasn't able to make use of that second initiation, but smoking right under a ward right now. We'll see how Liquid decide to react to this. It looks like they're just going to back out. Do not want to get caught, but might have to sacrifice a tower for this. We'll have to see.
Yep. No ultis. I think that's the big thing here. Like, you won that last fight. Yeah, you've got an Aegis, but you don't have Primal Split. You don't have Requiem. Not worth trying to take an aggressive fight without these. Problem is, they're still standing on Observer wards. A really nice top lane ward spots out Miracle. They could easily kill him twice.
Oh, do they have detection, though? That Shadow Blade's still in effect.
Rubik.
All right, there's the jump forward. Initiation comes out. Dust as well, stealing a raise. Throw it back at him one time, why don't you? That is the Aegis down, and I don't think that Liquid are going to be in a position to come and contest this at all. Miracle chase down yet again is going to drop. Firo picks up that kill. And my, the turnaround, quite real.
Great aggressive smoke maneuver from Bears, recognizing the weakness in Liquid side without their ultis. Often you'll see teams sit back, play conservatively, because an Aegis was just picked up by the opposing team. It's like this mentality where you'd rather wait out the Aegis than fight into it, but fighting into it when your opponents don't have BKBs, don't have their cooldowns is definitely the right play there, and Bears come out on top because of it.
Oh, they found GH up in the top lane as well. There's a TP that's coming in right now from a top mid. They've already used the Stampede. Pushback again. Nice play there by GH to keep him a little bit more survivable. And the Force Staff, and ends up getting the stun as well with the Mana Leak. Oh, great play there for Ev. They are going to end up taking him down. But no! Sanity's Eclipse turns it back around. See you later, Slark. They throw out the Brewmaster ulti. Wasn't able to drain enough of that mana, and now Firo might end up going down as well. Back and forth we go. Dispel Magic is going to bring Adam back to ground. And with a couple more right clicks, back to the grave. Goodness gracious.
Truly a battle of some of the biggest playmakers Europe has to offer, especially in that 4 position role. Yapster and GH are just like putting on a freaking show right now. Some of those Rubik steals have been great, but GH says, I may be playing a coddle, but I can show you a few plays as well. That was sick from GH. I just thought he was going to die to the next double edge, but he blinding light to create a gap between him and the Centaur. Centaur couldn't get that next double edge. Oh, Kuro going to get caught by the Weaver here. But then following the blinding light, that wasn't going to stop the TP. He still had some mana left, but it was the Force Staff with the mana leak on him that created the stun, and what a sick play from him.
God, it's not often you get to see those plays come out, but against these heroes with not a huge mana pool, this is something Forev is going to have to deal with consistently. It's not like this guy is screaming for mana, particularly if he initiates already with Hoof Stomp and a little bit of a Stampede. So maybe that Stampede, the thing that ended up costing him his life, we might not know, but a very entertaining game to say the very least as the roller coaster ride of the team net worth continues. Do you feel like there's one team that's maybe a little bit more happy with the way that the game has been progressing so far?
No, I think it's still neck and neck. No team has pulled away. neither team's draft necessarily scales better. I think looking at the OD Weaver on the Bear side, the Slack SF on the Liquid side, I think both teams can scale very well into the late game. Supports can offer a lot in the late game, like Rubik, Dazzle can be big playmakers. Coddle can have a huge impact on the late game with an Aghanim Scepter and the constant recall allowing you to split push the map. So I think strategically both teams still very even here.
Man, and this ward getting so much value now. They're going to get a 4-man smoke up, fine mind control, the lift up, the bring down, and another kill going their way. My goodness.
Well, Liquid going to have to reassess and try and figure out where some of this vision is. Often you normally see teams struggle to maintain aggressive vision with the Slack able to scout out all those observer wards, but it seems like for the most part, Bears was... Oh my gosh.
He lifted mid-pounce out. Yep, so...
What a player. Yeah, the Slack has found some of the wards, but the wards that Bears have kept up have been huge as far as finding some key kills. Multiple big pickoffs at top. They took away the Aegis. That's the big thing. That SF Aegis could have led to Liquid snowballing. They could have taken a lot of outer towers if they were able to wait their ultis to come back up and then just 5-man with an Aegis. Requiem and Brewmaster split, but because of that double pick off a Miracle, it stopped some of the Liquid timings. Now it found another kill on the Brewmaster. Just constant kills off of this great warding from the Bears side.
Definitely. And now Firo moving up in the top lane. He is quite farmed. You take a look at some of these other items. We've got the 2 Midases on the 2 really strong cores right now, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe you're going to be able to see some more scaling that comes out. I'm waiting for another one of these solid initiations from the Shadow Fiend, but it's just kind of been group up and fight Dota. It hasn't really had an opportunity for him to move around the map and get some solid initiations off with Miracle.
Yeah, it feels like he's just happy to... I mean, he kind of is forced to play the farming game, but that's not really what you want to do with a Blink Slack on your team, so we'll see what he can get at top. He's got night vision. He does see this.
They're pulling him back in as well. GH wants to bring in one. Kuroki is there with him. A catch and... All right.
Yeah, not really the ideal target in 4Ev. He was doing a really good job abusing his night vision, keeping it so that he was in a position where he could see the Centaur through the night vision, but Centaur couldn't see him. But just did not feel confident engaging on the tanky Centaur. It's a nice way to build up Essence Shift stacks, but it also puts yourself in a position where if you somehow get hoof stomped and you don't Dark Pact it off, OD could right-click you down, steal the ton of int.
Ooh.
Adam at bottom, looking like a potential free kill. Miracle guesses wrong going through the trees, though.
Oh, and Mind Control is taking a good bit of damage. He turns it around with the ulti. Miracle showing back up. Right-clicks onto Adam. This should be a kill here. Goes for the grave, and we'll probably just get lifted up in a second if he decides to TP out of there. They end up taking him down. And Fata should escape from this.
Primal split, though, down. That's a... I don't know, can't really call that a win, getting that one kill. Miracle gonna get gone on by Fata's Weaver, but don't think there's any real kill potential between these. Not with a haste rune on Miracle. But yeah, now that Brewmaster splits down, I think Bears actually can aggressively push this bottom tier 1 tower. So I think the end result is favorable for Bears if they can group up in time with the Dazzle respawn to take this bottom lane.
And you can see
very hard to just brute force push into the Aghanim Scepter of the Coddle, though. And I think that's the call from Liquid. Let's just defend with our spam. Try and wait for that split to come back up before we fight too aggressively.
You can see all of Bears as well. They had vision as the shrine was used up on this high ground from this kind of unusual and unorthodox ward placement. But now Matumba Man will scout it out with the Sentry ward placed down and at least gain a little bit more control over this vision that's been hampering their early game movement so much.
Yeah. Well, for Liquid, it looks like they're going to be led off with the Primal still on cooldown just because of that powerful lane defending with the Coddle. And also Miracle now, level 18, has that level 3 Requiem, quite difficult to fight into. It seems like Bears themselves don't feel too confident taking a fight until they get those next big items on Firo and Fata. Fata working on an MKB, wants a way to deal with the Drunken Haze, as well as just the Brewmaster evasion in general. And then Firo has queued up a BKB of his own. Similar idea where you want to be able to get rid of that Drunken Haze if it's on you, and also just be able to fight into all the AoE damage that there is on the Liquid side.
Oh, this is looking a little bit scary. Miracle coming in for it now. A couple right clicks for Ev, taking the damage. Kuroki as well with the ulti down. They get the time lapse backing away, but Fata still able to take him down. And somehow that initiation ends up turning back into the way of Bears. Liquid maybe a little bit out of position right now. They do have the Primal Split if they want to turn around and use it. Miracle slowed down by the dust. Tries to go for the right Night Stomp by Forev to cancel that one out. And Yapzor is going to end up being brought down by Matumba Man. GH trying to back out and away. They kill down Yapzor in return, though. Excuse me, Matumba Man in return, though, as Forev has found him. Adam now trying to get chased. Firo oh so low, and it looks like Mind Control is going to be able to escape, but still a really, really bad fight for Liquid as he might end up getting brought down. The damage ends up going, so the recall is not going to be successful. Firo finds him. One more right click, and it does look like that Blink Dagger is going to be continuously broken. Fata on a mega kill streak.
Fata is just fighting and moving around the map very well, from pressuring at bottom lane where he forced the Brewmaster ulti out earlier. He is proven to be a very difficult hero to deal with for the Liquid side, and that fight could not have really gone worse for Liquid. They tried to press forward knowing they had the Primal Split, but Bears just kited around it really well. This Force and Blink Dagger on the OD, the Stampede, all these tools just allowing them to win that fight.
This is where things become even more difficult. Those next round of items that come up and online. You've also got Rubik, who's going to be able to build into a Yule Scepter pretty soon. Like, he has been incredibly farmed. Granted, you do have a Coddle on the enemy team that has a Force Ags, but I'm feeling like the net worth from Bears is being put to a little bit more use. And Fata going to have that MKB soon, very soon as well. Tumba just going to be forced back again.
See how Liquid look to address this. Perhaps they're going to try and fight more around the BKB timings of Shadow Fiend. Slark's next big pickup in the Skadi could offer them a nice option as well. I think for Liquid to win a fight, they need to start off strong and build up a lot of essence on this Slark without giving the OD the Arcane Orb stacks. I feel like that's kind of the big battle here, is like who can stack up more stats in a fight. If OD gets off enough stats, he can man up on the Slark, throw an ultimate at him and probably kill him in one. But if they somehow manage to stop OD from stealing too much int while Slark himself builds up the Agi through the Essence Shift, that's where you'll see Liquid coming out on top of a long fight.
It feels to me, though, that like you look at Fata moving around the map right now, and he is not afraid of a damn thing. And I'm wondering if Liquid have to build into some type of more control right now, because they don't seem to have an answer. There's not enough stuns or general control. It's sort of where the Brewmaster would normally come into play, but I don't know. Do we need to see like a Abyssal or something up on Slark before we can really take these fights 5-on-5? Or
Abyssal, even just a bash, would be a very useful item to have, but yeah. I feel like he'll be pressured even into the BKB post Skadi. Yeah. It's kind of one of those things you want to hold off on the BKB purchase for as long as possible, so you can have that 10-second BKB in the late game. But with this Aegis going Bear's way, I think the push is coming soon, and Matu's going to feel like under pressure, like, okay, I need a BKB ASAP now. This OD is just becoming too problematic to deal with, so not sure he can hold off buying that BKB too much longer.
And Fata, Kuroki, they're all in the area, trying to fog him as much as he can. Oh, Ghost Scepter. Oh, no. He's TPing out. That might be enough. Oh, my God. The damage is so insane. Just 2 right clicks from Fata.
The Stampede and everything to catch up. God. Man, they did not want CM getting away.
It has felt like both teams are very willing to commit. Like, we've seen 2 solo ultis from the Brewmaster for Dazzle, a lot of Stampedes committed for these kills. Neither team wanting to give any ground to the other. I feel like they've kind of been prepping for this one for a while.
Nice thing with Stampede is a 60-second cooldown, so throwing an ultimate for a CM is not the end of the world for you. And you know you've got the Aegis, so you're still, without a Stampede, able to push down the lane. You still got your initiation and the blink stun, you just don't have the Stampede for another 30 seconds. So Liquid going to have to give up this middle tier 2 tower and just play the split push game. Matu at top, even with a Skadi, still can't really fight into this.
Oh god, and they found Miracle. A lot of control for him. They don't decide to go for it though. Instead, keeping the eyes on the prize. Let's take down this tower and get about our business.
Fata very low on mana here. There's some clarities, but maybe reconsidering what their next move is going to be. And yeah, he'll TP up top. So right now it looks like they want to repel the split push of Liquid before they go for any other big objectives. And the big objective is probably going to be these other tier 2 towers. Top lane has one that's very low. The second Liquid catch wind that they're pushing this top lane, Liquid responds by pushing out bottom, probably pushing out mid as well. Liquid are playing keep away from Bears.
The best of their abilities, and Like you said, that BKB, probably the item that they're going to look to on Slark. We'll have to sort of keep our eyes also. We haven't had to see the OD pop his at all yet. Still sitting on that 10-second one. So when these fights do occur, it's going to be hard pressed for Liquid to really make use of those items, as another weave gets dropped down, another tower is soon to fall.
Nothing to defend this one. You can throw an Illuminate out, try and spam it down a little bit. That didn't even hit. So making sure no one is hiding in the trees is YapzOr. Just scouting things out, covering their bases, and they're actually going to threaten the high ground here. Not necessarily thinking they can take a Rax, but more so than anything, they want to force Liquid back to defense.
Oh, YapzOr, he pulls back in GH, in some trouble, brought down. They were able to pull back in Mind Control and KuroKy, but now threatening high ground, and Liquid just don't have an answer. There's too much damage right now, and I mean, they're going to go for a split push on the bottom lane, and Matumba Man Miracle doing a lot with that. But it's feeling like they might end up losing too much. Oh my god, Firo taking no prisoners at all. KuroKy able to Ghost Scepter to keep himself alive, but with that buyback, everybody TP's out in a way. That is a melee barracks down, though, as they're going to end up fighting down here on the bottom lane. Requiem of Souls comes out, not able to kill off Forev. Miracle ends up dropping the Grave, keeping that Centaur alive, and Matumba Man will escape. Still a tough loss for Liquid.
Yeah, great hold by Bears. They not only take the racks, but they defend bottom lane. It looked like Liquid were pushing at a slightly slower rate, but still might get that melee racks. The important thing was all the TP. Now, Brewmaster bought back, but he doesn't have that instant disable. If he wants to go in and cancel the TPs out, he has to blink in, pop his ultimate just to do so. And at that point, you're perhaps wasting an ultimate. He was also just straight up out of range, it looked like anyway. So really good decisive play from Bears, and that lack of like clear initiation from Liquid is starting to cost them. They've got, I mean, initiation in the form of the Primal Split, but without a BKB, Mind Control is often getting insta-lift. He's getting hit by a Centaur stun, and it's not an insta-stun. It's like a clap into a potential ultimate, and then you've got the stuns, but it's this small downtime where Bears are capitalizing. And now with Aegis still in hand, they want to go for another melee Rax.
And it's not feeling like a whole lot to stop them. They catch Matumba Man again.
They stacked the Astral. That was not the intended plan.
Now, Matumba Man just going to back out again, so a little bit of a misplay there from Bears, but still the status quo is them in a very large lead, and it felt for a long time like it was sort of on the knife's edge as to who was coming out ahead, but just getting the farm on the right heroes and taking the right fights. What's the way back into this one right now for Liquid? Is there really a big timing that they're waiting for, or is it just all about the initiation, really?
The BKBs is when they really peak out. That's like from transitioning out past the BKBs is going to be tough for them, but they're going to have Matu and Mind Control both with BKBs very soon. And that first high ground defense they get with BKBs needs to be a big win for them. I think not even just looking at like holding the high ground and getting a kill, they need to come close to like wiping out Bears. But similarly, Bears are going to respect the high ground. They don't have an Aegis anymore, they back off, they get another item or two. Rather than try and break the high ground, they're going to try and find a pick-off to make that high ground push even easier, and GH, he walks into him.
Oh, God. Well, yep, that'll happen. They pull him back in. Ooh, and Bears not really feeling like they want to waste any time. No fuss, no muss. We're going high ground. They have
pushes very fast. That short cuddle respawn, thanks to the talent, will mean GH is back alive soon, but problem is, they can push in that 10 seconds without the cuddle alive.
Oh god, they find him right at the start. BKB put up for Firo, facing off against Miracle, not doing as much damage as he might have wanted, but Matumba Man also going to be controlled and still dealing the right click, brings him down so low. Matumba gets the ulti off on the other side. The ulti comes out from Kuro. That was a Rubik's Steel, so YapzOr might be able to turn this back against them as well. Nothing is safe for Bears. They are taking it all.
He's got no mana.
Oh, jumping out? Is he actually going to end up going down here?
Yeah.
All right. So if they bring it back, they end up holding. It did cost a buyback, but I think you take that one every step of the way for the CM ulti, and now they've also got control over Forev, pulling him down. That's a double kill for Kuro.
That's the kind of hold Liquid need. It took Castle their way back in the game. It's a high ground defense like that. A single buyback from a Crystal Maiden is the least of your concerns if you're in Liquid's position. You're just happy for your cause to come out on top of a fight. Matu didn't have to use his BKB, so he's still got 10 seconds. Mind Control used his, but his BKB duration isn't quite as important as a Slark. Slark's the one who needs the full duration to do as much damage as possible. Mind Control's BKB is such that he can blink in with BKB, throw a clap and a Drunken Haze, and guarantee getting off an ultimate with his BKB, so he doesn't get lifted or caught in a Centaur stun. So a 5-second BKB for Brewmaster, no problem. For Slark, you want to maximize what you get out of his 10 seconds. So they've still got that, and with 30 seconds on Weaver Centaur, they're trying to take an outer tower here at mid.
Another
Could be a
lift
tough
up.
one, though.
Matumba, man, he is going to be forced to pop his ultimate, and well, not Sanity's Eclipse up and online. Doesn't have anything to be afraid of, really.
That's the end of the push. Down goes Shadow Dance, down goes the push, and not much more to offer from Liquid other than perhaps some farm on the map at this point now that these two cores are about to respawn in the Bears side. But they do keep themselves in this game. We'll be looking to contest the late game against Bears, but tricky to do so. Speaking of BKBs, Fata working on one himself. He's just about to get there, and that's going to help immensely against this Mana Leak Blinding Light that we've seen a few times really plague him in these fights. He hasn't got a Lincoln Sphere, and while he does have the MKB to deal with the Blinding Light, he has no answer to the Mana Leak. Mana Leak has been destroying him in some of these fights.
Definitely, and that will end up making the difference. The other plus side here, though, if you're looking at Liquid, is Slark is starting to get his way towards that Basher, an item to be able to deal with the amount of just slippery heroes you've got here. And obviously, you mentioned lack of Lincoln Sphere on Weaver. That might end up being a way to let them get back into this game. Do you feel like the complexion of the game and the way these fights are going to go has changed at all since that high ground defense, or are we pretty much just sitting where we were before with Bears dominant?
Bears are still somewhat dominant in terms of like their overall map control, and with the top lane taken, they're going to now reprioritize and go for shrines. But similarly, Liquid themselves can kill shrines. There's tier 2 towers up, but with the changes here, all it takes is one tier 3 tower and you can break those shrines. So they've already killed one, and if they want to take away that point of map control around the Roche Pit, they can look to go for that other one, although not exactly the easiest thing to try and take down. But as far as how the game's changed, the BKBs on both sides make a big difference as to how you approach the fights. It makes hexes that much more valuable. Having a blink hex initiation, or just a hex initiation in general, can be used. It's going to be necessary to counter those BKBs. Firo's working on one on his OD. Keeper of the Light had one queued up, but it looks like decides he's not going to farm it, so instead goes for the Ghost Scepter, and Fata at bottom. Needs to be careful.
Man, this Mana Leak has just been such a thorn in his side, and you mentioned he has a BKB there to be able to, deal with the Mana Leak, but you don't want to pop it when it's just a solo Coddle running at you, so
yeah,
a bit frustrating.
Very, very true. It looks like for Bears, it's wait for Roshan is the call, and it has respawned for them. Dire Scan is fishing around the mid lane, expecting perhaps a smoke back and a sneaky little play from Bears, but it's just a straight up Roche. Very quick, very easy. No contest in sight. Even with Liquid smoked up, headed that way, they are not going to get there in time.
Well, we'll have to watch the next couple of minutes. Big talents that are coming up and online relatively soon. There's not a whole lot. I guess the Pounce Leash is probably what you're looking for, and then the Sakuchi movement speed is absurd.
Yeah, the Shikuchi one on Weaver is really nice. Yeah, what's Slack's other one? The 12 all stats. I think the Pounce Leash against heroes like Weaver is going to be the way you want to go. But ODSF also approaching level 25. We'll see that SF attack range kick in. Well, they know where Matu is, but we'll TP out. If he got vision and had like an MKB proc, that would have been a very sad Slark.
You know something kind of interesting about that? Actually, if you do have the leash on Slark with that, it's going to last the entire duration of Sakuchi. So could be a really, really great answer to the Weaver just in general. The fact that it's so much longer. And I don't know, I think that that's something that, I mean, the BKB is going to end up helping with it, obviously. It's probably the big answer.
Odie's 25 talent with the extra Arcane Orb Insteal for 60 more seconds is pretty crazy too. 8% spell amp is just not enough to justify getting it. Like you think of how much damage the Sanity's Eclipse can do, you go from 1,000 damage to like, it only increases it by like 80 damage at that point. It's not enough to justify getting it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of OD, he also does have that Blink Hex that you were talking about completed at this point. Firo just an absolute monster in these ones, as Fanta's going to keep on being pushed away and stunned up as well with the Mana Leak.
Trying to rat. Yeah, this is like the split push strats. You get Creep Wave in mid, he pokes his nose in, gets one Geminite attack on the tower, and he's trying to slowly chip away at this tier 3 tower, just being very annoying.
Yeah.
Looks like they're smoking up behind him, seeing what they can do. The Blink Hex initiation is there. Who can they catch? Can they get Matu?
Oh, they have the ward down.
Matu should know about this, though.
He does go in. There's the Stampede backing out and away. The initiation a little bit off the mark, but they have found the Hex onto Matumba Man. They drop him down. Miracle also going to end up being revealed here as he tries to turn onto that Rubik. Requiem Souls comes out. Mind Control as well. With the initiation, they find that kill. Forev going to get ran down and brought down. Double for Miracle, and with the buyback, they're looking to see if they can find a bit more, but can't take down Adam. So they won't find this next kill here with the Slark.
It's a big buyback to have to consume, but it's one of those things. That's what the Blink Hex does. It gives you that guaranteed pick-off on a BKB carry, and then they've got a buyback. Now you can play around the fact Slark doesn't have buyback, and all it's going to take for Bears is one more pick-off like that, and they can win this game. And they've also held on to Aegis as well as Cheese. I think they still got the Cheese. Yeah, it's on 4 of Centaur. So with Aegis and Cheese still in hand, once those heroes respawn, they are going to be looking very, very strong and scary.
Definitely. I'm sort of looking, though, at the net worth, and it does feel like it's not as grim as it once was for Liquid. You know, all the Tier 2 towers are now down. It's within 5,000 net worth. Do you feel like that's reflective of the state of the game as well?
If not for that buyback, absolutely. But now that the buyback's down, it puts Liquid in a very tough position. You're always at a disadvantage when your carries in late game don't buyback and your opponents do. If they can weather the storm, which is going to be the Aegis Cheese push without a buyback on their carry, so 5 minutes from now, we'll be back to like a more even-natured game. But as it stands, it is very much Bears favored, and they can look to press the advantage by... They can play very aggressively on the other side of the map. Even if without smokes, they can just make these moves to the other side, sitting behind Fata, who's got an Aegis, and not be afraid of too much, because Liquid can't aggressively engage into them without a Matu buyback. He has to play very cautiously, enter the fight after his other cores, and he's kind of the initiator alongside the Brewmaster. SF doesn't have good gap closing and doesn't have good initiation.
Well, we also got an E-Blade pickup, another little one for the Coddle, who has just somehow remained so farmed in this game. He's only 1,000 gold behind the Centaur, which kind of blows my mind. What do you think about that pickup?
I mean, every time I've seen them run the hero, they always give him a lot of farm. In the off lane, he's spamming Illuminate. He's the one pushing out lanes half the time. He's got 226 CS. I mean, he's got more farm potential than a Brewmaster does past the laning stage, so it's how well he can use these items. He had the Hex queued up earlier, but opts to go for the E-Blade instead, looking to use this as mostly a defensive tool for anyone who's getting, like, someone who's hexed up potentially, but you'd rather see something like a Lotus Orb, which is his next queued up item for the time being, but could use this to save someone like Matu, or even saving like himself or a support against the Weaver. There's no Diffusal Blade to try and counter it on the Bears side, so it is an item that can have a big impact on the fight.
I guess it's also not terrible against Firo, too. If BKB is down, it's a huge part of that guy's damage. As Matumba Man going to back out as things are getting a little testy there.
Though. Liquid want to fight now that the Aegis has expired.
Oh, they have that initiation. They jump immediately there onto GH, but meanwhile on the backlines, they're going to try and find this. Firo BKB popped as well, and Matumba Man is in the midst of all of it, trying to right-click, get some control. Yapzor is going to be down. Now Kuro also able to control up Adam. That ulti is going, and now they explode. Requiem of Souls takes on down that OD. Forev in a hell of a lot of trouble. They're going to be able to run him down as well. 4 people go down. No buybacks necessary for that one.
Huge fight. Great, bold smoke move, going aggressive. Bears instantly thinking, crap, we got to do something about this. Fata's headed top. He's going for the split push play. Does have boots of travel, but down the mid lane go Liquid. They want to force those buybacks, and that was a fantastic move from them. Mind Control's on defense duty. And there go the buybacks. Buybacks have been forced on OD and Centaur. That's where, as mentioned, like when your carries have buyback and your opponents don't, you're suddenly the one in the driver's seat, and that's the position Liquid find themselves in now. Slark's buyback, still 3 minutes away, so maybe not quite right away, but like a couple minutes from now, Liquid will have the edge. But that's around when Roshan's back up. So with next Roshan, there's going to be no Bears buybacks to play around that pit.
Well, and setting up for that engagement as well, it's worth noting that Fata was able to pick the gem back up after it fell to the ground, and we also saw Liquid take one on the Slark. So they've got this extra bit of true sight to try and get the vision down where they want it around the map. Liquid still have one ward that's placed down over here. This observer ward not really doing a whole lot at this point in time in the game, but we'll have to see how these next few minutes go and where the movement ends up coming out from. But it's starting to feel more and more like Liquid have turned this back around. Daedalus now on Shadow Fiend. He's got a hell of a lot of damage. That added attack range. These level 25s are starting to stack up. I might be a little bit worried if I'm Bears now.
Yapster in that last fight just played a bit too aggressive, trying to go for some big steals. He was suddenly in the middle of a lot of enemy heroes. Like, he's like, oh, I can steal a Requiem. We've seen him steal the Requiem at the bottom fight as well, but he instantly dies. He doesn't even get to use it because when he blinks in aggressively like that, Liquid are just bursting him down, taking away that spell steal. An Aghanim Spellstill Rubik can have a huge teamfight impact. Burst down quickly can have 0 teamfight impact. And for the last few fights, we have seen the latter of the two. So perhaps we needed to see more conservative defensive positioning from Yapsor, even though it's not his style.
Well, and also credit where credit's due is, well, Fata on top of Miracle. Man, that was a lot of damage rather rapidly, and they're going to go for this initiation as well. Kuro going to be controlled and brought down. That is going to be a kill from Fata. DD, quite scary.
He's got to reposition. Fata likely get this range tracks for free, not worth fighting over for Liquid. But coming mid is the Weaver as well. With the DD, he wants to get some damage out.
Very scary situation indeed. They have the BKB pop for Fata. Keep on going in with the right clicks. There's the hoof stomp initiation though. Miracle going to be Ghost Scepter alive, but no! They get the damage amp out and the Say's Eclipse doing too much. Matumba Man, BKB'd. He tries to turn and fight Fata. Graved and kept alive. There's the lift up now from the Bruise Split for Ev. Going to be controlled. Can they kill off all of these heroes before OD comes back down? Now the turn 4 staff out. Trying to escape for Ev is still going to be controlled and, well, stunned for the moment as the Pandas still doing their work. It looks like it's going to be it, though. They lift up Yapsor. He's in the air as Miracle comes back in, trying to kill them off. Nice cheese eaten, and Miracle kind of in no man's land now, in a lot of trouble. Are going to be able to kill him off, though, went a little bit too aggressive. Another Ghost Scepter comes out to keep alive at Miracle as Karev, Double Edge, everything being thrown up against him. They get the kill. No buyback. 2 minutes gone. Matumba Man trying to save the day, but can it even happen? Karev stealing away all that life from Mind Control. Adam trying to walk away. He is going to be able to escape. Forev gets caught there in that same clip, so they are going to end up losing this. Another one goes down, another buyback. Matumba Man, another Ghost Scepter, trying to walk away from this desperately and jumps back in fact, Forev, last second grave. Adam staying alive. Oh God, they've done it. I think that might just be about it. 90 seconds, yep. No Shadow Fiend.
No carries at all. Slark, his buyback is gone as well. There is no defending without them. Great initiation. Sphero getting the bomb onto Miracle to start the fight off. He was a great E-Blade attempt from the Coddle, but OD had so much intel, he just blew the Shadow Fiend up, and after that, Shadow Fiend, his second life, he didn't have souls. Without the souls, it's so hard and difficult to fight. You can't use that Requiem for its damage output, but more importantly, the slows and utility, the damage mitigation, so didn't really get much out of the Requiem. And the buyback advantage ended up going Bears' way. Weaver did have a buyback. That was the only kill Liquid really were able to get that fight. Forev just kited them around so well, had the cheese as well to tank it up, and game 1 goes Bears' way.
Beautiful display indeed. Ending the game with 44 stolen in. Doesn't feel that bad to be an OD at that point. But Fata able to take one against his old team. God's looking forward to game number 2. Do you feel like this was more about the draft or the team fights within the game? How do you respond now if you're Team Liquid?
I don't think that, I mean, drafts from both teams were great. I don't think you can attribute this game at all to the drafts as far as who won and who came out on top. Miracle did a great job reacting to the completely botched mid lane where he had no chance of competing with the dual lane of Rubik and OD to actually get farm and get himself back in the game. But the teamfight execution, the warding to me was probably the biggest thing. Those pickoffs, like when Miracle had Aegis at top, that top lane ward got them multiple kills, first on Miracle, then on Mind Control later on. I think the vision game was actually the deciding factor in my mind as far as allowing Bears to get the key pickoffs at the key times and secure them those much needed Roshans at the mid to late game stages. So really close game, and I think it's one of those games which could have very easily gone either way. Bears just managed to play better in the clutch moments.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a little bit. Not sure if it's going to be me or Capitalist, but Gods will be here, so there's going to be some bastion of stability within this broadcast. But in any case...
it sounds like Cap is unfortunately out. He's got to redo some stuff with his PC. He needs to reinstall Windows, so we'll be perhaps re-sign the stream so we can cast in Dota TV, depending on if we'll make it in time to the lobby. But we'll let you guys know.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. More stuff coming out right now. It's the EU playoffs. We're doing it. See you guys in just a few.